How are you doing? This is Steven with Merk Farms, and this is the weekly update. Looks like the date is about May the 8th. Did one just a few days ago, but just based upon my schedule. And I want to keep on creating content, especially getting to these open tract detailed analysis. I'm going to go ahead and do another weekly update right now. So this week, definitely spent some time reaching out to my usual referral sources. Only heard back from one and was in Ohio. So just continuing the conversation with them, hopefully getting some more things established with them as far as referrals. Outside of that, fix some things on the website to where I think if you watched another update, Google had really kind of taken me down just with some wording that I changed on the website. I guess Google apparently figured that I wasn't doing hunting leases anymore, really kind of trended me on out of there. Also, as I mentioned, Google's going to more of a pay to play. So unless you're running ads, if you look now, back just even a year ago, maybe the first entry you found was sponsored, maybe the second entry. Now, I mean, 4 and 5 and 6 deep, you really got to scroll. I don't really run any Google ads. It may be something I look into now that they've changed their format to really almost force you to spend some money with them. But it really just kind of amazes me from a hunter perspective and somebody who knows this business and this market over 10 years. I see these websites that are running ads. And to be honest with you, like I said, outside of maybe three or four businesses in this market, I just would be very skeptical of what's going on, especially one that just pops up. And as I keep mentioning, ones that I can't reach personally, from business owner to business owner, from professional to professional. So I understand the negativity out there. That's another reason why I do these things. Again, pretty easy to see that I'm a human out here trying to bust it and help in this market. I really don't think anyone else that I know of is as public and as open and honest as what's going on and what I'm up to and how I'm trying to help get you some land. So that's why, honestly, I don't really deal with negativity a whole lot. I see people pop up and they do their little comments, and I'll do some videos on why people are negative with hunting leases. Because, hey, find me another person that is out there and you can find face to face and is talking to you directly about what they're up to and what's going on. So I understand if you're negative. I understand if you've been burned. Hey, I'm convinced there's several fraudulent websites out there, but save your negativity for them. Me, I'm out here open, trying to continue to service this market best I can and find more land to get in your hands. As I say, the land is always here. The land is the same amount every day. It just changes ownership, changes strategies. I've had two landowners actually this week let me know they're going to discontinue leasing, and usually it's due to sale. One is going to sell it. Another's decided that they want to run some cows on it. Probably it'll be a little bit too difficult to mix in the hunting. The land didn't go anywhere. The land is still there. So the strategy has changed. But now while that's happening there, some other new landowner buys some land. They were not going to do anything with it, or unfortunately somebody passes it, puts it on to the next generation. The next generation doesn't know what they're going to do with it. So that's kind of where I'm always, on the hunt to find out, where those, willing landowners are, because the land is there. The land was there before us. It'll be there after us. So just finding whenever the strategies of that landowner match up to a hunting lease is really the most important thing. So let's go on into the meat and bones of the weekly updates. And I want to take some time and steer into, I actually have a fair bit of land in Tennessee, especially trending over towards West Tennessee. I want to talk about the Decatur, one of the Decatur, Tennessee ones that are open. I personally visited this one. I've shot a pretty extensive video on this one. I personally like this area. It reminds me a little bit more of the places I grew up hunting. Like I said, I grew up in the Florida Panhandle. I've still lived down there more than I've lived kind of in the Midwest, upper Southeast. So I enjoyed getting over that way. Man, it reminds me of the places I grew up hunting. I would trek from the Florida Panhandle, hunt, West Central Alabama, hunt East Central Alabama, and it reminds me a lot of that. So I really liked it. Nostalgic for me. A lot more kind of red clay, red pebbly clay on the as far as the ground goes. But this one here, the Decatur one, I really love because it's got a great mix. It's got crops on it. It's a big crop field. It's got full-time water. One of the borders is, I believe it's maybe, called Doe Creek or Doe River even. So it's got full-time water. And right there on that, you'll see from the aerial in the video, right there along that river creek is a nice crop field. What I really love is there's a big set of kind of mature timber that's on the other property across the creek. But even better is I like, man, you'll see in the middle, the big set of woods. You've got some mature woods as it kind of migrates towards the other crop field, on the west side of the property. But right there in the middle, a lot of that is just gnarly habitat. Gnarly habitat. I'm talking about, scrubby freaking habitat you can't really go into. The trees aren't big enough for stands. Just that awesome, like, maybe 15-foot tall, newish growth trees, tons of snaggles underneath, built for deer and really nothing else. Humans not going to run in there. Also, it's got a little, looks to me like a little bit of wetness in there. So again, that's great. There's a saying, and I, believe it. Big bucks have wet feet. And they like habitats that are ones that you and I really aren't going to go into, or getting into it later, habitats that we don't think to look, like right behind the barn. But it's got that diversity of habitat, because as you move from, say, the creek border on the east, you move west, like I say, you get that crops. Then you get that gnarly habitat, but then it dries out, gets a little more upland. Nice little rise, maybe 20, 30 feet, just guessing. And it gets into some older, more mature, like shortleaf pine, stuff that's kind of common for that area. And then gets out into another crop field. So I really like that, and then it's got even another set of woods you'll see in the northwest corner that is, again, even higher and drier. From my memory, a little more of the oaks, really more hardwoods up there. So I like it. On that one property, sits a little bit like a square. You've got some upper kind of drier hills with your hardwoods, and then you've got lots of crops. The crops really kind of wrap around almost like an upside down U. Right in that middle there, you've got, again, great habitat of some older, more mature pines. And then you've got, as it goes down into that crop valley, a really kind of nasty, gnarly type of, new growth woods, and then gets out into the big crop field. And then, of course, the full-time water source that forms the west border. And then you've got the next property over with a lot of woods. So, I like it because, again, just the description, there's not really anything else you could want on a deer hunting property for sure. The only other thing that it's kind of missing, in my opinion, I personally love, just those fields that nothing are being done on it with, some cedars, 4 to 8 foot tall, kind of taking over, that kind of brisket high on a good buck, broom sage. I like those fields. That's not on there, but that's really the only thing that it's really missing, in my opinion, outside of that. Really every type of habitat you're going to want for a deer is on that Decatur. Another reason why I like it is, the owners. Again, great owners, typical of my owners, not really there, just have it sitting. So again, this is the type of property where you could, put a camper, You could come and go a lot. Matter of fact, with these types of properties, I always encourage hunters to go there a lot. A lot of my landowners, they count on their hunters really being the people that are coming and going, eyes and ears. Now, on this property, there is a lease farmer that's doing the crops, but again, as with a lot of my owners, the hunters that get it organized and under, a hunting lease, they're the ones that, probably come and go more than anybody. So that's always nice. It goes either way. Some hunters want an owner on site so they feel like somebody's always there looking. But then also, a lot of hunters, probably more, like one that's just sitting there. You kind of almost have it like you own it. Come, go, don't really have to check in with anybody, run your camera, set everything up like you want, and come and go throughout the year, setting up, scouting, hanging out, looking around. So again, I like this property for the setup, I like the property for the habitat, I like the property for some of the liberties you might have with being able to come and go all the time, having a camper, etc. Now, looking on my rating classification, I do have it as lucky because if you look at the tract size, it is, about 90 acres. Yeah, about 90 acres, again, give or take. So that type of size tract, the deer are going to be walking, 5 or 10 times that amount of land. So you don't really actually know every last thing that's going to be there. I do like it because, like I said, of that gnarly habitat, kind of right in the middle. Those tend to kind of be a little bit more holding points for deer. So as far as the deer roams around and runs around and moves around, that property has got that habitat type that's really going to probably keep deer a little bit closer rather than farther away, because that, hey, you know what, they spend most of their time laid up, and it's got that type of habitat, a lot of acres in there. I'd say probably 15 to 20, just looking at the aerial, where they're going to love to hang up in there. A lot of safety in there. So they may get out and roam around at night, roam around all over. Of course, they'll lay up all over, but it's got that good anchor habitat that's really gnarly. So this is Steven, again, giving you a little weekly update on what's going on. Merk Farms Hunting, taking some time to look at one of our Tennessee tracks. This one is open at the time of this video. It's priced very reasonable for, like I said, for what you're getting and what's going on and the habitat and the diversity and the access you get. So make sure to check it out. And again, look forward to a couple more videos engaging you. And again, if you have something, question or anything, send it in. Want me to address the different topics, send it in. But this is Steven Ruckman with the weekly update. Looks like it's May 8th, 2024.